I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. If I was Marvel Comics, if I had power at Marvel Comics, I would do a lot of things. But one thing I would do is I would probably go talk to CBR, Screen Rant, Bleeding Cool, all these comic book websites, and I would say, look, listen, stop writing articles about Captain Marvel being so powerful and all these things that you can do, because if anything, in my opinion, this backfires and makes people dislike the character even more. The character, at least in the comic book fandom, I'm not touching the movies on this one. We're sticking with the comics. The character is extremely unliked. The comics don't sell at all. And people will come to me and say, oh, well, the graphic novels sell so great. Well, if they sell so great, and if this is such a big YA book, why do they still market it towards comic book fans? Okay, you could take it in a completely different direction, but you choose to keep trying to insert this character all over the place in the Marvel Universe. You try to make her the bestest ever Avenger. You put her in books with Wolverine and Spider-Man. Okay, it's pretty obvious that they want to make this character popular. I don't care what they say, and it doesn't work. In the comic books, this book doesn't sell. Nobody gives a crap about Carol Danvers. And then you see articles like this, and the media, they don't help, because they write stuff like this. Ultra Instinct Goku versus Captain Marvel. Who would win? And this isn't the whole video. I just saw this and I wanted to show you. Of course, who would win this? Well, it of course ends in a tie. It ends in a tie.
You serious?
This is cringe. All right. And another thing that they do is they're constantly writing articles about how Captain Marvel can break adamantium, how she's stronger than this person. Oh, she got another new power upgrade. I did a whole video. We're like 2 minutes. I just showed you like 40 articles of them saying she's so powerful. New upgrade. How can she be so strong? She takes out this new strong guy. Like, it's all these headlines. And the one thing about it is there's a lot of truth to it. So in the comics, they've made her completely overpowered. And not only is she overpowered, she's praised all the time, told she's the bestest ever. She has no flaws, basically. No weaknesses, no flaws. She's just the bestest ever. That's what people call her, a Mary Sue. Now, the thing with that is when you make her so perfect and powerful, it makes her very unlikable. Where do you go with the character when they're already so goddamn perfect? It doesn't make any sense to do that. And now they've yet again found another way to make her break through some stuff. So this is from a recent Avengers book. And for some reason, I don't know if this is Frank Castle ghostwriter. So if you don't know, there's a version where the Punisher is like a cosmic ghostwriter. Take forever to explain. Or if this is Johnny Blaze or the new one, the one with the car, I forget his actual name. But I just don't really like that character. Why does he have Ghost Rider should always be on a motorcycle? Just my opinion, but whatever. So I'm not sure which Ghost Rider this is, but for some reason, he turns to Captain Marvel and gives her the penance stare. Which, if you don't know what that is, I can give you a quick rundown. The penance stare is a supernatural ability that can incapacitate victims and is only performed by the spirits of vengeance or Ghost Rider. When in close combat, the Ghost Rider locks eyes with his opponent and induces self-mortification by imposing him or her every negative actions, behavior, and sensation from sins to the pain of others that individual has ever committed in their lifetime. Its effects are similar to the soul-searing effect of hellfire. It can, however, backfire with certain individuals. So basically makes them feel extreme remorse. And she has plenty to be remorseful for. Not that long ago, if you don't remember, she killed Tony Stark in Civil War. And she also, from what I remember, had a little bit of a drinking problem back when she was a normal character. Now she's just so perfect and the best ever. I don't remember she had a drinking problem for sure. Not. I swear she did, but I could be wrong there. You have to fact check me. But if she for sure killed Tony Stark. The one that's alive now is a clone, by the way. Unless they change that again. And she was also like locking people up in prison during Civil War II. She's done some questionable stuff. But just on the fact that she killed Tony Stark alone should give her like some remorse. No, not this character. Now, she's perfect, never sinned. She breaks the stare. Now, like, this was crazy to me. Like, this is your problem, Marvel. This is why you make the character so unpopular and so unlikable, because you do stuff like this all the time. And you do this for one reason. It's to own the istophobes, to tell comic skate, right? Look at what she says here. Impossible. No mortal can withstand the penance stare. Whoever said I was mortal? And believe me, I've done penance my whole life. And I'm sick and tired of being punished for existing. And then she blows away whatever version of Ghost Rider it is. I really think it's probably the Frank Castle one. Because of the spikes on his shoulders, they look like that version of Ghost Rider. But I could be wrong. The point isn't the comic book. The point is that she's yet again overcoming another barrier. She's like, what do you do with this character where she's so powerful, like nothing works on her? This is why the character isn't interesting. This is why you've had to cancel and reboot the comic over and over again. It's because you do stuff like this. This is poor writing. This is terrible writing. Okay? Marvel Comics is full of terrible writing. And people were pointing this out in the comments for this. Like, the only other character that withstood it, as far as I know, and from what I could tell, is... Okay, so yeah, I forgot. Ghost Rider does have those spikes there. But I really do think that that's, for some reason, the Frank Castle Ghost Rider. I could be wrong. But like I said, that doesn't matter. So are they saying that she's like crazy, like the Punisher, who withstood it? Though from what I understand, Deadpool used an angel feather on him or something. I don't know. But the point is, to me, this just makes the character unlikable. The character's always been unlikable. But you just never let her fail. She never has to get up and brush herself off. And it's the biggest problem of the character. And you're never going to be able to sell this character to people if she's just perfect forever. She needs to have failures, but constantly. What do they do with Captain Marvel? People coming up telling her how great she is, telling her how smart she is, telling her how strong she is, how great she is, what a leader. She's so popular. Like, that was a storyline recently for the character a few years ago. Like, that she's so popular in the Marvel Universe, she had to learn how to deal with it. Like, nobody wants to read that. And especially not with this character. That's a good angle for Spider-Man, but not for her. Not for her. Speaking of Tony Stark, by the way, look at this garbage in Marvel Comics. Okay? Like, you really think this is what's going to sell to people? Just read that dialogue. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you can pause it and read it. Like, who are you trying to sell this to? Okay? At this point, like, I really do feel like they just don't care, and they're going all in on this garbage. I remember when everybody was praising C.B. Cebulski for coming in, and I said, it's going to be the same shit. This guy's got no spine. And sure enough, nothing really changed. They toned a little bit of stuff down, but for the most part, they've just kept on going and going. And this shows it, and this shows it. When are they ever going to change? And it's not getting much better over at DC Comics either. I like to pull up the recent issue of Batgirl. That's actually the final issue of Batgirl, issue number 50. She'll still be around in the Bat Family books, but this is her solo book. They're getting rid of it. This is her joining Antifa, basically. A little bit of backstory here. So in the previous issue, her brother died. Jim Gordon saw her, or the aftermath, so he thinks that Batgirl killed her. So she's having like a falling out with her dad. By the way, her job in Marvel Comics right now, her real job, not her being Batgirl, is working for an AOC character. Okay, it's modeled after AOC. And that's what she does, basically. And now she's going around joining protests. I mean, you can read that dialogue. And what are you doing? Talk about a way of alienating a bunch of your audience. By the way, they introduce Ryan Wilder in this issue. And what does she immediately do? Check this out. I thought this was hilarious. As soon as she meets the character, and this This is, okay, so Ryan Wilder, in case you don't know who that is, this is the character that's replacing Kate Kane in Batwoman, the CW's Batwoman. I imagine she's probably going to replace her in the DC Comics as well eventually, because why not? The first thing she does when she meets her is tell her how great she is. She says, "Hey, Ryan, I have so much potential for greatness. Wilder, keeping clean, I see." All right. And she talks about how she used to hole up in the library where I worked at when she was younger and read through everything, even took my coding class too. So the first thing they do when you introduce her, the very first thing they do when they introduce this character is tell you how great she is, how smart she is, this is what they do with all of their female characters. And you make them so perfect, where do they go? Now, this character is incredibly boring, by the way. She's described as a hothead who lives in a van with her plant. And they even make sure to put the plant with her. Put the plant with her. So it's not getting any better over at DC Comics, though. There's actually a couple more DC Comics that are good compared to Marvel. Other than like Venom and Thor, there's nothing. And some of the X-Men books, I think some of the X-Men books are okay. And there's a few more books at DC that are a little bit better, but some of the the independent people are doing it better at this point, like Boom especially. And then you've got all the CG books. But as far as like mainstream comics go, the only thing I could actually like wholly recommend, I think, to anybody and say for sure pick up everything is Power Rangers. Everything else is just trash. The women in the Power Ranger books are treated like normal people, then they're not perfect. But in every mainstream comic book, the women are always perfect. They're super smart, super strong, and as Captain Marvel teaches you, they can do anything. And if they can already do everything and they're already perfect, where the hell are you supposed to take these characters? Where are you supposed to take them? You can't take them anywhere because they're already perfect. And they just don't seem to get that. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. Also, if you would, please like and share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.